The world watched in horror as the unimaginable unfolded before their eyes. On September 11, 2001, terrorists attacked the United States, forever altering the course of history. The Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, symbols of American might and prosperity, crumbled to the ground in a matter of moments. The Pentagon, the heart of US military power, was breached, leaving a gaping wound in the nation's defense. Thousands of innocent lives were lost, each one a story of dreams unfulfilled and families shattered. The images of that day are seared into our collective memory, a haunting reminder of vulnerability. The plumes of smoke billowing from the skyscrapers painted the sky with despair. The desperate cries for help echoed through the chaos, a cacophony of fear and confusion. The heroic first responders, with unwavering courage, rushed into danger, embodying the spirit of sacrifice. 9/11 was more than just an attack, it was a profound national trauma that left an indelible mark on the American psyche. In the aftermath of the attacks, there was an outpouring of grief, anger, and a collective thirst for answers and justice. The nation, united in its sorrow, demanded justice and sought to understand the reasons behind such a heinous act. The world mourned with us, offering condolences and support, standing in solidarity with the United States. But amidst the unity, questions lingered, casting shadows over the collective grief. How could such a tragedy occur? Who was responsible? These questions echoed in the minds of millions. And as the dust settled, a fierce debate emerged, one that continues to this day, shaping policies and perceptions. This is the debate between the official narrative of 9/11 and the persistent whispers of conspiracy theories, a dialogue that remains unresolved. The 9/11 Commission report, the result of a painstaking investigation, laid out a clear narrative. This comprehensive document was the culmination of months of interviews, document reviews, and hearings. Al-Qaeda, the terrorist organization led by Osama bin Laden, claimed responsibility for the attacks. Bin Laden, a figure of global infamy, became the face of this unprecedented act of terror. The report detailed a complex plot, years in the making, involving meticulous planning and training. Al-Qaeda operatives trained in remote camps, honing their skills for the deadly mission. 19 men, radicalized by extremist ideology, hijacked 4 commercial airplanes. These individuals, driven by a distorted sense of purpose, executed their plan with chilling precision, their targets symbols of American power and capitalism. The World Trade Center and the Pentagon were chosen for their iconic status and symbolic value. The World Trade Center, a hub of global finance, represented the economic might of the United States. Its destruction was meant to send a powerful message. The Pentagon, the nerve center of the US military, symbolized American military strength. The evidence was compelling, leaving no doubt about the perpetrators. The hijackers' identities were confirmed. Their movements were tracked. Their communications were intercepted. Every piece of evidence painted a clear picture of their involvement. Bin Laden himself appeared in videos boasting of his role in the attacks. His chilling confessions were broadcast worldwide, further solidifying his culpability. The US government responded swiftly and decisively. Measures were put in place to prevent future attacks and to bring those responsible to justice. Military operations were launched in Afghanistan and Iraq, targeting Al-Qaeda and its allies. These campaigns aimed to dismantle terrorist networks and eliminate safe havens. The Patriot Act, a controversial piece of legislation, was passed, expanding surveillance powers in the name of national security. This act sparked debates about the balance between security and civil liberties. Despite the weight of the official narrative, alternative explanations began to circulate. Conspiracy theories, fueled by mistrust of government and a desire for deeper meaning, took root in the fertile ground of uncertainty. One of the most persistent theories posits that the US government, or elements within it, had prior knowledge of the attacks and allowed them to happen. Proponents of this inside job theory point to alleged inconsistencies in the official account. Others claim the World Trade Center towers were not brought down solely by the impact of the planes and the ensuing fires. They argue that the buildings were wired with explosives in a controlled demolition. These theories, while lacking credible evidence, have resonated with a segment of the population. They offer an alternative narrative, one in which powerful forces manipulate events from the shadows. The collapse of the World Trade Center towers, particularly the speed and symmetry of their descent, has been a focal point of conspiracy theories. Some architects and engineers, questioning the official explanation, have raised concerns about the structural integrity of the buildings. They argue that the fires, while intense, should not have been hot enough to melt the steel beams supporting the towers. They point to the presence of molten metal found in the rubble as evidence of explosives.
However, official investigations conducted by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, have concluded that the collapses were due to structural failure caused by a combination of factors. The impact of the planes, traveling at high speeds, caused significant damage to the load-bearing columns. The ensuing fires, fueled by office furniture and other combustible materials, weakened the steel structures.
The money trail insider trading. Allegations and investigations. This section delves into the intricate web of financial activities that raised eyebrows in the aftermath of the tragic events of September 11th. Another strand of conspiracy theories centers on unusual trading patterns in the stock market in the days leading up to September 11th. These patterns were not just random fluctuations, but showed a distinct and unusual trend that caught the attention of many. Some financial analysts observed a spike in put options, bets that the value of certain stocks would decline, particularly in airlines and insurance companies. This spike was significant enough to suggest that it wasn't merely coincidental, but rather indicative of foreknowledge.
This, they argued, suggested that some individuals had prior knowledge of the attacks and profited from the tragedy. The implications of such actions were profound, hinting at a deeper, more sinister level of awareness and exploitation.
The Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, launched an investigation into these allegations. Their goal was to uncover any potential wrongdoing and bring those responsible to justice.
However, the SEC investigation, along with others conducted by regulatory bodies, found no conclusive evidence of widespread insider trading related to September 11th. Despite the thoroughness of these investigations, the results were inconclusive. They attributed the unusual trading patterns to other factors, such as market volatility and pre-existing economic conditions. These factors, they argued, were sufficient to explain the anomalies without resorting to conspiracy theories.
While some individual cases of suspicious trading were identified, these were not deemed to be connected to the attacks. The investigations concluded that these instances were isolated and not part of a larger, coordinated effort. The psychology of conspiracy theories. Why do people believe in conspiracy theories? Well, it's a question that has intrigued psychologists for years.
People often turn to conspiracy theories to make sense of complex and frightening events. It provides a sense of control and understanding in an otherwise chaotic world.
Believing in conspiracy theories can also be a way for individuals to feel unique or special, as if they have access to hidden knowledge that others are unaware of.
Additionally, social factors play a significant role. When people are part of a community that shares these beliefs, it reinforces their views and makes them more resistant to contradictory evidence.
Ultimately, the psychology of conspiracy theories is complex and multifaceted, involving a mix of cognitive, emotional, and social factors. A delicate balance. The events of September 11th have left a lasting impact on the world, and the balance between security and civil liberties has been a topic of intense debate.
Historically, in times of crisis, governments often expand their powers to ensure national security. However, this can lead to a delicate balance where civil liberties may be compromised.
The introduction of measures like the Patriot Act in the United States sparked significant controversy and raised questions about the extent of government surveillance and individual privacy.
It's important to remember that while security is paramount, maintaining the fundamental rights and freedoms of citizens is equally crucial.
Striking this balance remains a challenge for policymakers and continues to be a subject of public discourse. Remembering September 11th. As we reflect on the events of September 11th, it's essential to honor the memories of those who lost their lives and to recognize the bravery of the first responders who risked everything to save others. The legacy of September 11th is a reminder of the resilience and unity that can emerge in the face of tragedy. By remembering this day, we ensure that the lessons learned and the sacrifices made are never forgotten. And so we move forward with a commitment to building a more secure and compassionate world for future generations.